In this video, we're gonna have a look at pump and dump scams, rug pull scams, and Ponzi schemes. These are sometimes difficult to detect, but I have put together a list in this video of some things you can look at and some tips and tricks on how to protect yourself against these kinds of scams. But first, let's back up a little bit and let's have a look at what pump and dump scams and rug pull scams are all about. So here, the scammers are trying to get you to invest in something, to pump up the price on that asset, and then they will dump their own shares or their own coins and cash in and run off with all the money. And of course, the price will almost always plummet down again because the reason for the price increase was pure manipulation and no real value. And there are many ways in which the scammers can pump up the price in a pump and dump scam. And sometimes they actually do this with more respectable currencies, like the bigger cryptocurrencies. But if you see those currencies pump, you can't really know if it's planned manipulation by big players, big whales in the market, or if it's organic price increase. That's sometimes difficult to detect, and there are ways that big players can actually manipulate the market. They could use spoofing, wash trading, all kinds of different ways of manipulating the market, but they're doing it to real assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's a little bit different from the rug pull scam, where they just get you to buy a complete shitcoin and then just dump the whole project and run off with the cash. So we'll get back to that. A pump and dump scam could also be that a big player or a whale have bought a lot of the coins of a smaller project, and they are using different kinds of trading tactics or using social media to draw other investors in to pump the price. And since they are sitting on such a big percentage of all the tokens in that small project, they could actually dump all of their tokens and thereby dump the price on the whole project in an instant. So you should always take a look at the tokenomics of a crypto project and see if there are any big whales that could potentially dump the price. Now let's look at the Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme is defined as a fraudulent investment scam promising high rates of return with little risk to investors. And what they do is that the returns they give to investors, the money is taken actually from new investors coming in instead of actual revenues from a business or anything like that. So as long as they can keep recruiting new people, they can pay out returns to their investors and keep them happy. But of course, at one point in time, it has to stop, and then it just goes belly up and collapses. And it's very similar to a pyramid scheme. The most famous crypto Ponzi scheme was perhaps BitConnect, but there are many others similar to them. And the happy little fella you saw at the beginning of this video is of course known as the face of BitConnect, and it's really fascinating to see how many people they actually managed to scam and how brainwashed these people got. Of course, super happy because of all their money they were making on paper, but not long after this video was taken, the whole scheme collapsed and everybody lost their money, of course, because that's the way it always ends with the Ponzi schemes. So you should be aware of these kinds of schemes and people trying to recruit you into some kind of business opportunity or the likes.
So the market cap is $2.168 trillion. And now the market, oh! went to 0. Yo! Damn! There we go. Squid Games.
Now let's talk about the rug pull scam. So the reason it's called a rug pull is that when the scammers decide to pull the plug, they often take out all the liquidity on the trading platform and run away with all the money. And that makes the price plummet to 0 in an instant. And believe me, this could happen in 1 second. And usually this kind of scam is something that happens on the decentralized exchanges, like for example PancakeSwap. What a lot of new investors in crypto don't know is that it's actually pretty easy to launch a new coin on PancakeSwap. It doesn't really take that much effort, and so the result is that everyone does it, and everyone comes up with these ridiculous new coins and posts it on PancakeSwap, and there's a lot of new people speculating in new coins there, trying to jump in to catch new trains all the time. So please be careful. And actually, a lot of these investors jumping in, they might even know or suspect that it's a rug pull, but they simply don't know how to avoid it, and they think it's a fair chance to take. So let's take a look at a list of red flags you should look for when investing in new cryptocurrencies. If you want to avoid getting scammed by pump and dump and rug pull scammers, this is a list you should pay attention to. Number 1. The team is anonymous. This doesn't necessarily mean it's a scam project, but if you see that the team is anonymous, you should at least do some more due diligence before you throw your money into a project like this. Number 2, it can only be traded on obscure and unknown crypto exchanges, and the volume is low. So you might ask yourself, why does it matter that the volume is low? It's because the volume signals that few people are actually trading this currency, and the price of the currency can be easily manipulated by people who hold large amounts of that token. Number 3, the website looks like it's low quality, amateurish, and it looks like they have used a lot of generic stock photos and the like. And you can look for things like no white paper, or if there's a white paper, it's really short and looks just like a copy of someone else's white paper. Stock photos, bad design in general, and the site looks like it's been built in 2 hours. Many of these are bad signs, and you will get sort of a feeling that it's not a serious project. Also, look if you can find any info about the team members. Often this is the place you see if the team is anonymous. Number 4. They are an obvious copy of another popular cryptocurrency. And since we had the meme coin mania last year, these kinds of dog coins and copies of dog coins, etc. have sprung up all over the cryptosphere, and there are thousands and thousands of them. And if you go to, for example, a page like Dex Tools and look at the new pairs that are launched on Dexes, you can see that many of these new coins are just meme coins with ridiculous names, and they're often a copy of another coin, or they're a copy of a copy of a copy of another coin, and the meme-orama lives on. Number 5. They have little or no followers in social media. And this could be Twitter, Telegram, or the like. Or another scenario there is that they might have followers, but these looks like fake profiles or paid shills. If you see anything like that, try to find any real people who follow them. Maybe you know some more known faces in the crypto industry, And if there's no one that seems like serious crypto investors or no real people following, this is a bad sign. Number 6, they are brand new and have no history. And this speaks a little bit for itself, because many of the rug pull scams only live for a short while. They only live long enough that the scammers can lure in people, pump up the price, then dump it all, and then run away with the cash, rinse, repeat, and they just create another scam project. Number 7, you can find suspicious things in the code. And you could, of course, learn how to read the coding language in crypto. And for Ethereum, for example, you can go to Etherscan and you could actually check out the smart contracts and read the code there. But the easiest thing is to use a site like tokensniffer.com. And what you do is that you take the token contract and you paste it into tokensniffer.com and lets them scan the contract. And then they will tell you a bunch of things about the code and will tell you if there are any red flags or obvious signs of scam. So here you could actually see an example of such a report, and I'm going through the analysis and looking at different red flags. For example, the token owners have not renounced the ownership, which means that they still have full control over the smart contract, and they could do changes there if they want to. They could disable selling, they could charge you large fees, maybe fees like 98% for a sell. So or they could just mint new tokens out of thin air. And you could also see other red flags there, like things with the liquidity. They have the option to just take all the liquidity locked in the smart contract and run away with it. And you'll often find many of these red flags, and they'll give you a score of how risky this token is to invest in. So this is a very powerful tool that you should use. Number 8, communication in their social media channels, like their Twitter and Telegram, appears suspicious and fake. This could be that you find the messages and the posts very spammy, that you see there are bots, obvious bots spamming all the time. So just keep an eye out for those kind of things. And number 9, you see that the project uses pump and dump tactics to market the project. And I think this goes hand in hand with number 8, that it's kind of spammy messages that you get. It's often that you will be sent messages by strangers on Telegram or Twitter that tell you about this coin. They're promising it's gonna 10x, 100x, whatever. Often they're making posts with hashtags like hidden gems, like diamond hands, possible 100x, 1000x, whatever. And a lot of these projects also get marketed like an ICO, so they're gonna drop the coin on a DEX and you should be early in there. You should not wait, because if you're late you'll lose out on a lot of gains. And they're trying generally to create this really FOMO feeling in people, fear of missing out, and get people to throw away their due diligence because they have to be there early and they don't have time to check out what this project really is. So that's it, guys. I hope you learned something from this video. Watch out for the scammers, and if you have any questions or comments, let me know down below.
Hey, everybody, my name is Carlos Matos, and I am coming from New York City, New York. Let me tell you guys that I am so excited, I am so happy, I am really so thrilled to be right now sharing this amazing, glorious, super exciting moment of my life with all of you guys. And let me tell you that we are really changing the world as we know it. The world is not anymore the way it used to be. No, no, no. Be connected. Wow. Be connected.